Hello, welcome to the Grow Your Wealthy Mindset podcast, where it is all about helping amazing physicians just like you create a wealthy life free from burnout and with the financial security to practice medicine on your own terms. I'm your host, Dr. Elisa Chiang. Welcome to the 2025 New Year episode of the Grow Your Wealthy Mindset podcast. I hope you are having a wonderful holiday season, or if you're listening to this episode at some point in the future, a wonderful week regardless of the time of the year. Since this podcast is releasing on New Year's Day, I thought it would be fitting to talk about New Year's resolutions and goal setting. The tradition of New Year's resolutions is believed to have originated with the ancient Babylonians. The Babylonians had a 12-year New Year festival called Akitsu, where they crowned a new king or reaffirmed their loyalty to the reigning king. During Akitsu festival, they would make promises to their gods to pay their debts and return any objects they had borrowed. They believed that fulfilling these promises would bring them good fortune in the new year. If they didn't follow through, then they would fall out of the gods' favor. These promises could be considered New Year resolutions. The Romans had a similar ritual that occurred in January. The month of January was named for Janus, the two-faced god. It was believed that Janus looked backwards into the previous year and ahead into the future. It became a tradition to think about one's past mistakes and resolving to do better in the future on the first day of the year. New Year resolutions tend to involve what people want to improve over the course of the year. A survey from Forbes Health and OnePoll of 1,000 U.S. adults that was conducted in October 2023 took a look at resolution setting among Americans. The top resolution people made at 48% was improving fitness. Improving finances came second at 38%, and improving mental health came in third at 36%. Following that was weight loss at 34% and improving diet at 32%. Less common resolutions included traveling more at 6%, meditating regularly at 5%, drinking less alcohol at 3%, and performing better at work at 3%. While many people continue to make New Year's resolutions, only a fraction of those are actually successful in achieving their goals. The same Forbes Health OnePoll study found that the average resolution lasts for 3.74 months. Around 8% of respondents tend to stick to their goals for 1 month, while 22% last a whole 2 months, and another 22% last 3 months, with 13% lasting 4 months. Are you someone who makes New Year resolutions? Or perhaps you don't specifically make resolutions for the new year, but you set goals that you want to achieve during the year. You may have heard of setting a SMART goal, S-M-A-R-T. In case you need a refresher on the components of a SMART goal, the S stands for specific. The goal should be clear about what will be done or completed or accomplished. M is for measurable, which sets a standard of how progress or completion of the goal will be measured. A is for achievable. Basically, the goals should be possible to achieve, though I don't love this one because there are people who achieve the impossible, or what originally felt impossible to them. R is for relevant, which means the goals should be aligned with overall objectives or values. And T is for time-bound, which means setting a deadline to actually achieve the goal. One money goal I made back on September 3rd, 2005, which I have saved in a Word document that I still have on my laptop, is by August 8th, 2035, I will have enough investments and or passive income to support my current living expenses, at which point I will be financially free. I honestly can't remember if I wrote this to be consistent with a SMART goal, but looking at the other goals I listed that day, probably not. Looking at this goal, it is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. It may not have a specific number listed for net worth, but it defines the amount of investment and passive income to reach the goal. Given that the goal was made for something to accomplish in 30 years into the future, I think it's actually wise to not have a specific number in mind. It's my personal belief that the majority of physicians in the United States want to stop working at some point or recognize that they won't be able to continue working as a physician at some point. There are many physicians who would likely stop working now if they could financially maintain their current lifestyle without working. Unfortunately, according to a 2019 Medscape survey, 24% of physicians who responded to the survey and were age 65 or older reported having a net worth of under $1 million. Unless they have a pension by working for somewhere like the VA or a county hospital, they are unlikely to be able to stop working and maintain their current living expenses. That being said, according to the Federal Reserve SCF data, the median retirement savings for those aged 65 to 75 is $200,000 in the United States. So those physicians are likely still better off than the average American. According to the CDC, the average life expectancy at birth in the United States is 77.5 years, 74.8 years for men and 80.2 years for women. For people who are currently 65, the life expectancy is 14.3 years, or living to an age of 79.3. It breaks down to 12.8 years, or age 77.8 for men, and 15.8 years, or age 80.8 for women. And of course, that's the median life expectancy. A given individual may live for many years beyond that. If you're listening to this podcast, chances are you have some money goals. One of those goals is probably to achieve financial freedom so that you can retire from practicing medicine if you want to. You may really enjoy practicing medicine and still plan to be practicing through your 60s and even 70s because you want to and not because you have to. But having the freedom to make that choice, I think, is something everyone should consider working towards. And this may be a goal that you're actively working on, or a goal that still feels very far away while you are currently paying off debts before you even get to the point of building up your wealth. Whatever your money goal is, how have you been progressing on them? In this podcast episode, I want to help you make some progress on your money goals or any goals that you may have. The first step to any goal is really to write your goal down. A prominent study by Dr. Gail Matthews, a psychology professor at Dominican University, found that individuals who write down their goals are 42% more likely to achieve them compared to those who simply think about their goals without writing them down. Make your goal a SMART goal if you're inclined to, but you certainly don't have to. Writing down your goal helps provide you with clarity. What is it that you want to accomplish? What specifically does success look like? When do you want the results by? While you're thinking about your goal, think about why. Why do you want to achieve this goal? What are you hoping to feel when you achieve this goal? How will life change for you when you achieve this goal? What drives you to achieve this goal? It can be helpful to ask yourself why, come up with the answer, and then ask yourself why again, until eventually you'll probably get to some core value. For building wealth, my ultimate why is freedom and autonomy, which are the highest of my core values. For you, you may want to build wealth because of a value of security, or it could be a value of family, so you can help out your family financially. It doesn't matter what the end result why is, but having it be meaningful for you is what matters. For long-term goals, like financial freedom, create milestone goals and shorter timeline goals to reach the long-term goals. Break down large goals into smaller steps. What are all the things you need to learn to reach your goal? What are all the tasks that need to be accomplished? What are ways you can measure progress? For the goal of financial freedom in, let's say, 15 years, smaller goals could look like learning how to make best use of any retirement accounts available to you, reading at least one financial book a year, and taking action on at least one thing you learn in that book. Creating a financial plan if you don't have one, and reviewing it regularly. A goal like figuring out and maximizing your retirement accounts can then be broken into specific tasks. One task would be to contact HR to set up retirement account contributions from your paycheck. If you're in your own private practice, maybe you actually even have to set up how you're going to do retirement accounts. Another task would be to get the login information for your retirement account. Then choosing what investments to contribute within the retirement account. You'll also want to determine what asset allocation you want to use. If maxing out your retirement account contributions means that you'll need to decrease your spending, then you'll also want to think about how you want to reduce your spending. Milestones could look like having a specific net worth by a given date or time, or saving and investing a certain percentage of your income by a specific date. It could also look like paying off debt by a specific date. I think it is helpful to create timelines for your goals, even if you don't end up actually reaching those timelines. I would really encourage you to sit and think about all the tasks necessary to accomplish the overall goal, and then make them into goals with their own timelines. As you're setting up these goals and tasks, it may start to look intimidating. Keep breaking up tasks into smaller and smaller chunks until they look less intimidating. It may look like a lot to do, but if each step looks easy enough to do, you'll find a way to do them at some point. Then designate some time regularly to work on these tasks so that it becomes part of your routine. The more you can build this into your habit of what you do on a regular basis, the more action you'll end up taking, and then reaching your goal will be inevitable. The other thing that may come up as you're writing down everything that needs to be done are the obstacles to actually accomplish all this work. When pursuing any goal, there will be obstacles. Common obstacles are lack of time and lack of knowledge. Brainstorm ways to overcome those obstacles. Where can you fit in an hour a week to work on your goal? What would you have to do to make that happen? Who can you enlist for help or support? Come up with as many premeditated solutions so that you can overcome the obstacle when it presents itself. If your goal doesn't feel believable or realistic to you, you're unlikely to reach that goal. If that's the case, you'll need to examine your thoughts around the goal. Why does the goal not feel realistic? What do you think is realistic? What are bridging thoughts you believe that can help you get to the thought you want to believe? What's a goal that you can set, that you believe that you can reach, that would be a stepping stone towards the ultimate goal that doesn't quite feel believable yet? Being able to change our thoughts is really the secret to life. It's something that can happen quickly. Your thought could shift in a moment, but often occurs slowly with deliberate effort. And it really can take time and energy as we manage our mind on what thoughts come up regularly and changing them to the new thoughts we want to believe. Getting a coach to help you through this process can be so valuable. I know I personally find it valuable. As you work on smaller goals and towards your ultimate bigger goal, analyze your progress regularly. How regularly will depend on the goal. Some goals may be best reviewed weekly, while others review monthly. For the goal of financial freedom, consider reviewing your assets, investments, and debts and calculating your net worth quarterly, or at least annually. During this process, well, really at any time, you really want to avoid self-punishment. Beating yourself up over mistakes is not helpful. Telling yourself that you're stupid only hurts yourself and makes it less likely that you'll keep taking action towards your goal. There are going to be some goals that you may not accomplish by the deadline you set. That doesn't mean you can't accomplish it by a later date. With investing, there's going to be some point where you lose money. You can't predict when the market will crash, but you can stay calm during the crash and stick to your financial plan. There will be times when a big unexpected expense comes up that prevents you from paying down debt or may even cause you to take on more debt. Things happen. You can recover. Take any mistake or what you're looking at as failure as a learning experience. Let go of the should haves, the I should have known better. Instead, give yourself grace. You made the best decision you could with what you knew at the time and given the resources you had. Review what is in your control and what is not in your control. Let go of things not in your control. This is easier said than done, but it gets easier with practice. It can help to have an accountability partner or having someone help keep you accountable. This could be a friend that you check in with regularly, or it could be a mentor or a coach. Some people will share their goal publicly in order to be held accountable by a large group of people. This could be helpful depending on the goal, as people who know about your goal can help keep you accountable, especially maybe at situations where you may falter. When people see you working towards your goal and achieving milestones, they'll cheer you on, and that can also be motivating. They may also be able to help you towards your goal in some way. Reward yourself for reaching milestones or completing smaller goals that lead up to the large goal. This can really be a positive source of self-reinforcement. When you move towards the direction you want to go, you want to reinforce that behavior. Rewarding yourself does that. And you want to celebrate. Celebrate all the small wins. If we're only celebrating the big wins, then we're not giving ourselves of the positive energy that we can produce by celebrating the small wins. A celebration may even just be telling people, look, I reached this milestone. I was able to accomplish this goal. I got myself to do something that is hard for me to do. A reward could also look like treating yourself in some way. Maybe you treat yourself to a massage or a pedicure. You decide how you want to reward yourself. Even words of praise that you say to yourself can be helpful in reinforcing working towards your goals. If you want 2025 to be the year where you make your financial plan and make clear progress on your money goals, I have an offer I want to share with you. I will be accepting a limited number of clients for a year of personal coaching where we can meet as often as you like, assuming we can find mutually agreeable times, for the bargain price of $8,000. I have never made an offer like this before. My prior coaching packages have always been based on the number of sessions. I personally have paid significantly more for group coaching programs with no one-on-one support. I am looking to help people who are serious about getting their finances in order, who want to feel confident about managing their money. I also want to be able to coach on all that life stuff that comes up, whether it's related to money or not. This is a year of both life and money coaching that I'm offering. We can coach on any and all aspects of your life so that 2025 is a year of transformation for you. Imagine how much change you can make in a year. I've had prior clients who either saved more than the cost of coaching with me or brought in far more money through coaching than they paid for their coaching. Consider this as an investment that could pay huge dividends if you are willing to do the work. If you want to jump forward on your goals, please set up a meeting with me at my website, www.growyourwealthymindset.com. If you can't find a good time listed there, email me at growyourwealthymindset@gmail.com with times that work for you, and I will do my best to accommodate those times. Thank you so much for being a listener of the Grow Your Wealthy Mindset podcast, and have a happy new year. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you could share it with your friends and colleagues. And now for the disclaimer. I am not a certified financial planner, accountant, or attorney, and nothing I say should be construed as professional investment, tax, or legal advice. This show is primarily for your education and entertainment. I am a physician, but I'm probably not your physician. So if you need any medical advice, please contact your own physician. Thank you.